Tonight we continue to look back at a chapter in Oklahoma history that is perhaps the darkest spot any of us will ever see. The bombing in Oklahoma City was the day that changed us, and the mastermind of all of it, an American with an axe to grind against the government. In the hours after the blast in downtown, law enforcement began picking up on clues that the explosion came from a bomb, not a natural explosion. As recovery was still ongoing, the new monstrous task of a criminal investigation was also taking shape. Crews had to sift through the mountains of rubble by hand for any clues about who and what did this.
The law was violated in Oklahoma as well as nationally. Again, the violation of state law and the violation of federal law are two separate and distinct things. We have 70 first-degree murder charges to file, potentially.
About an hour north of Oklahoma City on that Wednesday, an alert Oklahoma Highway Patrol trooper pulled over a young military type with a weapon in his waistband driving a yellow Mercury with no license plate. He was arrested for having the gun and taken back to the Noble County Jail. He was set to be let out of jail the next day until authorities identify him as Timothy McVeigh and a suspect in the attack. On the day he was being transferred out of the Noble County Jail into federal custody, hundreds of people showed up to see the face of terror in the heartland.
They should have let him loose out front and let everybody have at him. We're taking to Oklahoma City and let all those people have at him.
McVeigh's trial was eventually set in Denver after Judge Richard Maich thought a trial in Oklahoma couldn't get impartial jurors. It would go down as one of the most complex trials in American history. 25,000 witness statements, 350 audio tapes, 500 videotapes, and 160,000 pages of notes and records. The trial would come down to a lot of simple pieces put together. Tim McVeigh bought explosives to put into a Ryder truck he rented. Then he drove it to Oklahoma to commit his act of terror. He chose Oklahoma City because of the government offices inside the building, and the date because of Waco and the start of the American Revolution, April 19, 1775. His hope, April 19, 1995, would start a new anti-government revolution. He'd be wrong.
We have the counts now. We have the first count, count one, conspiracy to use a weapon of mass destruction. Timothy McVeigh has been found guilty by this juror of 12.
On June 3, 1997, just over 2 years after the bombing, the Denver jury convicted Timothy McVeigh on counts of murder, using a weapon of mass destruction, and conspiracy.
McVeigh is a coward and a low-down bastard.
He would be sentenced to die for the crime, a sentence carried out on June 11, 2001 at a federal prison in Terre Haute, Indiana.
He absolutely showed no remorse whatsoever. I never took my eyes off of McVeigh.
It was a death, many said, was undeservingly peaceful.
He went to sleep. That was it. He went to sleep.
Unlike my mother, who was in the 4th floor and fell 4 floors and was found in the front of the Murrah building. It just seemed too easy for him.
It's a period on the end of a sentence. This is the completion of justice, and that's what I'll remember about today.
Now, many of you probably remember that McVeigh was not actually tried alone. Terry Nichols was named a co-conspirator in that plot, helping McVeigh get materials and put all those pieces together. McVeigh told his attorneys that he actually strong-armed Nichols into helping him, but ultimately, the plot was Tim McVeigh's. We will continue our look back on the day that changed us on Wednesday with a look at all that structural damage that Oklahoma City had, 48 square miles damage, and where they were going to begin the rebuilding process. And of course, don't forget our special live coverage starting on Sunday morning, April 19th, from 8 to 11 a.m. You can watch our coverage from major milestones during the event online right now. That's at OKCFox.com, including the live coverage of that McVeigh trial you just saw.